Okay, I have a list of points here I said I would do. It's now actually 2 months, thereabouts, after I delivered that Giclee to the gallery, the girl with axe. So I've never talked so much about one of my own pieces as I have with this. So I find that kind of strange, but to talk about the process, I have to talk about the process. So I made a list here of stuff to talk about, and hopefully I can cram it into this video. And I'll just read off the sheet, the points. So it says at the top, girl with axe, acrylic enhanced Giclee, thoughts on what happened during the process. Point number 1. The process is often initially mysterious from project to project, case by case. What one may assume will be important at the outset may prove to be irrelevant and different as the process begins to find its own structure and way. To wit, how I thought I would execute the enhanced Giclee girl with axe did not become what happened. Materials and techniques that I wanted to use, what I assumed I would use, I did not use. Number 2, the process reveals knowing as it commences, not necessarily beforehand. Before commencing, I didn't necessarily know what I was doing. And I took a risk by beginning. And I knew that I must begin. If anything, all I knew was that I would be successful. My attitude was good, and I possessed curiosity. But the outcome, how the work exactly would look, was unknown. If anything, I knew only that I was capable of completing the project successfully. So that's all I had to know, was that I was going to be successful. How I would become successful? I didn't think about that, really. I had a general theory, but then once I began doing it, things began changing. But I knew I would be successful the whole time, so I kept doing it. I didn't doubt myself, rather. Of course, I lost my place now where I was reading the thing. Well, let me see. I took a risk by beginning. My attitude was good. By the outcome, how it would look was unknown. If anything, I knew only that I was capable of being. This was and is and continues to be a pivotal point, because without this realization, as I sat there, then I would not have been able to work. This is the moment when most fail to begin and continue to have a project that is never completed or begun. That's kind of awkward sounding, but basically saying that very point, to overcome starting, is often what prevents anyone from finishing anything, because they can't start. Or when they do start, they don't finish it because they can't make those choices, those leaps of faith to continue making choices. Let me read that again. See, this is the moment when most fail to begin and continue to have a project that is never completed or begun. That embodies that moment of choice. It's very pivotal, as this is the moment when a perfectionist will hesitate. Okay, that's my point. I had to read more of my own writing. Perfectionism is what kills everybody. I think that's a bullshit way of thinking. It's stupid. If I was a perfectionist with my art, I would never make anything, or my art would be, I don't know, it would be seemingly well-crafted, boring stuff. Some of my art is that, probably, but hopefully most of it isn't. Number 3, before beginning, how long is this thing going? Okay, it's 4 minutes, 4:22. Before the beginning of a project, the process is largely unknown. It will become what it becomes as it comes. It is a discovery. Resisting the beginning, despite the ultimate vision for a good outcome, is often normal for me and can prevail for prolonged moments. It then breaks and I just dive in. After a 9-month painting hiatus, I loathe starting again, especially enhancing a work I'd already done. But then I soon wondered why I had been away from it for so long. The process became a joy. There was a joy in the problem solving. Point number 4. I had assumed I would create an oil-enhanced Giclee on canvas. But after researching using oils on Giclees and how that is not recommended, because the turpentine on the brushes will destroy the ink, I ended up making an acrylic and marker enhanced Giclee on canvas instead. I had no idea I would do that. It just happened that way because it had to. Point number 5. Girl with Axe originally was a mixed media drawing, not a painting. The original drawing is marker, graphite, colored pencil, and pastel, but mostly marker. I've never hesitated to use mixed materials. In other words, even though material use will vary from project to project, I am not one to always use purely one material or method on a singular work. I will use whatever tools and materials that I have access to, and that which helps achieve the finished piece. Number 6. Girl with Axe Enhanced Giclee, similar to the original, is also a mixed media piece, an homage, an acrylic and marker, and ink if you include the Giclee being an ink on canvas. I didn't make it necessarily better in as much as I made it different. I kept it very faithful to the original while creating a new piece out of it. It's very different upon close inspection. 7. Initially, I derided acrylics as being only a step and a means to an end, annoying and hard to use, which they kind of are. Mere background pigments for paintings that were better finished in oils. But Girl with Axe on a Giclee became 99% acrylic. This again testifies to the point that the process is initially unknown and mysterious. It is the risk-taking and action forward that reveals the actual methods. Presuming to know the correct methods can be potentially stifling. What are the correct methods? What if a particular project stubbornly presents the need to invent new methods, which this one did? And I have had others that forced that upon me as well. It crept up on me like, wow, this is different. Girl with Axe Enhanced Giclee, point number 8, afforded me the opportunity to revisit an earlier time in my development. This is a 20-year-old painting now, a drawing rather. Yet it didn't need much, it was complete. This posed a great challenge in the enhancement process. Would I have the skill, wherewithal, and discernment in order to accomplish this new chapter in the drawing's history? The answer was yes, but not without some brief loathing and hesitation, all fabricated in my head. I recall the momentary bite of intimidation overtake me as I lose my place, as I sat there in prolonged minutes staring at the Giclee. It was almost worse than a blank canvas, but I had to very quickly remove that feeling and begin. Once I started, I then saw areas that could use immediate enhancement. I worked on those elements first to generate movement and momentum. I had to start and dive in and then have the answers come to me as I did it. Recap and timeline, number 9. Prep day, March 29th. Sprayed Giclee on canvas with matte enamel to create barrier between ink and oil paint to be applied. As it sat overnight, the spray became dust-like and failed to adhere. I had to remove the enamel spray that had dried into a fine dust powder, and I had to use a cloth to remove it. This meant that I could not begin using oils. So that whole plan was just gone. Instead, I had to use acrylics. I was forced to use acrylics then. Paint day 1, March 30th. Some hesitation, intimidation to begin, but enthusiasm prevailed. I worked on the storm clouds first, the upper right quadrant. I had to get used to using acrylic paint for detail work. That was challenging. As this was out of my comfort zone, I did lots of dry brush scumbling. I soon began using gel medium. Day 2, March 31st, hit a wall. Took hours to assess what to do. Was afraid of the non-stormy bluish region of the sky, the left side. I eventually changed that side quite beyond the original, but looking over the entire canvas made me feel overwhelmed. Took me hours to make minimal choices. Yeah, day 2 was terrible. I sat there for hours and hours just staring at the canvas like, what am I going to do? It was just very, very painful. It's like I felt like I had no choices to make. But I had a million choices to make on a pre-existing, seemingly unalterable picture. Day 3, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Determined, enthused, curious. Better with paints today. Enhanced the axe and more of the left side of the sky. Boot, stool, and legs. Day 4, April 2nd. Finished up, enhanced... What? Oh, finished up. Enhanced the hair and hand. Used some dulling spray on some small regions of the sky to tone down the gel medium touch-ups that dried glossy. See, gel medium dry is really glossy. I didn't remember that. But then I began to remember it when I did it before, and it came back to me like, oh man, that doesn't match. It was too glossy. It didn't match the rest of the canvas. I had to dull it with dulling spray. Word to the wise. Acrylic gel medium dries glossy. This will create a mismatch in the surface texture and glare. If used in areas with no gel medium, rather if it's next to areas with no medium, it's going to stand out too much. Day 5, signed the piece and made a video recapping the experience. Point number 10, the last point. Would I do this again? Maybe. I'm more likely to do a full-on painting than spend time retouching or repainting over a pre-existing work. The experience was challenging and a good warm-up exercise, but I don't see at this point doing this with much frequency or even infrequency. Unless a work proves to be in greater demand, requested and reordered frequently, I will probably not do this again anytime soon. Now, this video went really long. Hopefully it will upload to YouTube. It's past 10, it's like 12 minutes now. Anyhow, I think this recaps it well. And this concludes our Grow with Axe Enhanced Giclee saga. If you want to know any more about the piece, go back over the other videos and watch them again, or find something in them that maybe you overlooked. I might actually do one more video of me going to the gallery. I haven't been back to the gallery since I gave it to them. I might go there and photograph it hanging there just for memory's sake. Maybe I'll do a video, maybe not. But if I don't, have a great day. This concludes our main phase of the Grow with Axe Giclee enhancement process. Thank you very much for watching. You have a great day.